Hey, this is Matthew Ricks with the Music Business Newsletter, and today's email we're going to jump right into because it's a long one. I think this is a good one for everybody. When it comes to the internet scams, this woman basically has lost everything. We're going to hear her story and then try to help her. So let's dive into the email. She says, Matthew, I don't really know how to start this email except to say that I'm just heartbroken. I've made a lot of mistakes trying to chase my dream, and I feel completely lost right now. A lot of people, you might be watching this or listening and being like, well, we all made mistakes, girl. Keep your chin up. Just hang on. Just hang on. Most people, I like to call it the illusion of action. Most people will do something because they have to make a move. They have to do something to make their careers feel like it's going in the right direction. They make stupid moves. They make bad decisions. Sometimes it can set you back. And in this situation, probably changes everything. Probably changes the entire trajectory of your career as an artist. So she says, I feel completely lost right now. And here's her story. About 18 months ago, my grandfather passed away. And he inherited me $200,000. He always loved my music and believed in me, and wanted me to use that money to take my music career to the next level. Well, one, sorry for your loss. Two, you get $200,000 sitting in a bank account, and we just Googled how to blow $200,000 as an artist. She said, prior to this, I had a few singles that I released through DistroKid. Things were starting to build a little bit. I had a couple of thousand plays in the lifespan of my singles. So I thought, with this inheritance, this was my chance to really make my dream happen. Terrible mindset to have. She says, I found a producer online and I went to Atlanta and recorded a full-length album. 12 songs total. Okay, let's stop there. Why would anybody decide I need to release 12 songs? You know, I've done like one or two singles. Now it's time for me to get a 12-song full-length album out there. Like, why? Why would you do that? She says, the production quality is absolutely incredible. I sound like a professional artist. She says, it cost me $120,000 to make. $120,000 for 12 songs. $10,000 a song from a producer she found on the internet. She says, I still believe that this was worth it, and I wanted my album to be done right. And I'm very proud of the finished product. What I didn't realize until later after the album was released, that the producer slipped in a clause in the contract, giving him 60% of all royalties from the album and 50% of publishing. Okay, one, he probably didn't slip it in because he don't mention anything about an entertainment lawyer. It probably was in there. And you signed away 60% of all royalties from the album. 50% of the publishing, did you guys co-write the songs? Did you just bring them in a complete song? I don't really know. You don't really tell us. 60% royalties. As a producer, he should be getting what is called, there's a producer royalty, there's mechanicals. That at best should add up to 4%, not 60. He actually owns more of the royalties from this album than you do. This is why I tell you guys, get an entertainment lawyer. Don't get a real estate lawyer or a banking lawyer or a person going through law school to read your contracts. You just spent $120,000 for 12 songs. Gave away 60% of all your royalties from this album. I'm sure there's a clause in there about how you got to work with him for future releases as well. When $1,000 would have caught this stuff. Now, you're probably thinking, we'll take him to court and you guys can renegotiate. Absolutely. But we have another problem we're going to get to in a second. So the email continues. Once the album was done, I went back to my DistroKid account and I released my album. Congratulations. She says, then I hired a promotional company that my producer recommended. The producer who's charging you $120,000 for 12 songs, who's taking 60% of your royalties, said, hey, I got this promotion company. They do great. Why don't you work with them? When you contacted this producer, I don't mean to beat you up. I just got to ask. When you contacted this producer, did you tell him I was just inherited $200,000 and he was just like, let's go? So she hires this promotional company to help get her playlist placements. We talked about that the other day. Because they were going to get her organic promotions. She paid them $25,000. And for a moment, it looked like it was working, she says. Within the first 45 days, my album hit over 7 million streams on Spotify. So when this was going on, and in 45 days, you're getting 7 million streams on Spotify. Did you happen to look inside like the Spotify artist app and see where these plays were coming from? Where your plays like, were you getting like 5,000 plays like that, and then it would be quiet for 23 hours, and then the next day you'd get 5,000 more. 7 million streams on Spotify in 45 days, and we're not asking a single question. She says, I thought my life was finally changing. Well, it did change, and you're gonna find out how right here. She says, but then overnight everything fell apart. Spotify flagged the 7 million streams as fraudulent bot plays. That's how it goes. She says they pulled my entire album down and notified DistroKid that I was involved in fraudulent bot plays. Then my distro account was frozen. I was banned from uploading any future releases, and I can't distribute my money. She says, I am completely devastated, and I don't know what to do in this situation. I mean, you're screwed. You're SOL. Because let's be real, it wasn't your intention, but you did have fraudulent bot plays. I mean, if your last couple of singles before were doing a couple of thousand and now you're getting 7 million streams and it's all coming, they're all only playing the song for 35 seconds, and it's hitting and then everything disappears for 23 hours. Like, that's fraudulent plays. And, for all you people who want Spotify to pay more, Spotify is trying to figure out how to crack down even quicker on these fraudulent plays. And while they still are paying artists for this stuff, there's some people out there who are making a lot of money with these types of scams from Spotify, not even from the artist. So she's locked out of her DistroKid account. She can't get her money. Album's down everywhere. I mean, you spent $120,000 on an album and it was pulled. So she continues. She said, still trying to fix things. I contacted DistroKid, but to no help. They will not work with me because they said that I was involved in fraud. You were. She says, I then decided to go to TuneCore and re-upload the album thinking that DistroKid was the one that was blocking it from Spotify, Apple Music, and etc. But every streaming platform has my album flagged, and it was not released. So I paid TuneCore money to distribute an album that they refused to release. Yeah, you're flagged. I bet probably what happened was when Spotify notified DistroKid that there's a 7 million stream fraud going on, DistroKid just tagged your artist name, album, the metadata inside your songs as fraud, and now no matter where you go, you're out of luck. So she says, apparently my name and music were flagged as fraudulent. Yep. And she says, I cannot release anything right now. Not my full-length album. I can't release a single. I can't do anything. I am blacklisted. Remember, the producer who you paid $120,000 and who owns 60% of your royalties recommended this company to give you organic plays. She continues, I feel like I've been branded as a fake artist when that was never my intention. Well, scammers look for people who are trusting and have $200,000. just laying around itching to get their career going overnight. She continues, in desperation, I decided to rehire the same producer again, pay him another $20,000 to remix the entire album so I can release it under a new name. Your producer recommended a company he's probably involved in. Okay, I bet that company's out of Atlanta. You paid them, what was it, $25,000? He recommended they destroy your career within 45 days. Now you're trying to figure out what to do, and you come up with another $20,000. So I think between the $120,000, the $25,000 for promotion, we're up to $165,000 of your grandfather's $200,000 to help your career. So they're going to remix the entire album to change the metadata inside, and then you can release it under a new name. That might work. Okay, that actually might work. I have a feeling that if you told me that the producer came up with this idea, this isn't probably the first time this has happened. But she's gonna remix it for $20,000. Producer's made $140,000 on 12 songs here now. Probably a cut from the promotion company as well. Promotion company. She's going to release it under a new name. The question I have about that is, whatever real fans you do have when you change your name, how do they find you? If you play shows, how do they find you? Because now you're under a new name. Because if you're going to go down this road and you get busted, it's going to be you're going to get blacklisted everywhere again. So now, even in your promotion, I would not have any reference to the old you. So those fans might just think that you got married or had a baby or got hit by a bus, and your music's gone and you're just done with music forever. She says, I don't even know if that's the right move. I don't know the other move you could make, and I don't even know if this would work. And you probably should consult an attorney about this. You probably should have consulted an attorney about all of this, but you could contact a lawyer, an entertainment lawyer, show them all the paperwork, show them everything, and see if legal could get involved to contact DistroKid and the DSPs to have them prove your case. Because just because you email a contact DistroKid or TuneCore and go, oh, this wasn't me, they don't care. It's AI that's even responding and reading that email anyways. That is an option you could do, because what I am afraid about is that if you go and release this under a new name, you remix the album. If there's anything in there that's flagged from the previous release, it could ruin that. Now you're out another $20,000. She says, I'm just trying to find a way to get my music back out there and maybe recover some of what I've lost. I mean, you might be able to get your music back out there. I don't know how you're going to recover what you've lost. Because right now we're up to $165,000. And you have an album that is literally, in DSP world, toxic as all get out. Is this hopeless? I mean, this is a cautionary tale of what not to do. Yes. But oh wait, it gets worse. She says, that same promotional company also managed my Instagram and TikTok. Was there nobody in your life at this moment in time who was saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? You found a producer on the internet. That's what you said. You've paid him $120,000. Now he has this promotional company that he keeps recommending. And now we're up to $35,000 for promotions. She says, this promotion company managed my Instagram and TikTok. I paid them $10,000. $35,000. We're up to this promotion company. And they grew my account to 220,000 followers on Instagram and over 400,000 on TikTok. But now my reach is completely dead. I wonder why. She says every post gets 5 views, if that. Well, because the same idea they had to run bots through your Spotify account to run your numbers up, this is how they got you on TikTok and Instagram. So when you were on Instagram and you saw that you got 220,000 followers and over 400,000 followers on TikTok, and you're not getting any emails, you're not getting any comments, probably not getting any likes on these posts. You're just getting just a gang of followers. You didn't ask any questions? You didn't go, hey, why am I getting all these followers but no traction? Why am I still getting the same consistent 5,000 plays every day or 10,000 plays? Well, you had to get more than that to get 7 million. You didn't ask any questions. Or you don't tell me you did. She says, I feel like my entire creative career on digital has been shadow banned. Well, you haven't been shadow banned on Spotify. You have been straight up banned. But your Instagram and TikTok, yeah, you're shadow banned. And when you decide to change your name and release it, don't throw these accounts away as well. They're done. It's over. You're not going to be able to salvage this. I mean, if you got 220,000 followers on Instagram, you're going to go through one by one and block them. And the reason why you're only getting 5 views is because when you post something, Instagram is blasting that to 220,000 people and realizing nobody cares because they're dead accounts. They're fake accounts. We talked about this the other day on this newsletter. And the same thing's happening on TikTok. TikTok actually is better at detecting bot accounts, like when you get a surge, than Instagram is. And so TikTok will just be like, all right, cool. You got your 400,000 followers. Great. Here's 12 plays. Here's 12 views on your video. So yeah, you're in social media world, you're completely shadow banned. Without a doubt. The email continues. I feel like I've lost everything. You have. My music, my money, my reputation, and honestly, my confidence. Your reputation, DistroKid doesn't even know you exist, neither does Spotify. Unless you were like, I'm going to be a star, B. And then this all happens, and now you got to eat crow. And my confidence? Well, yeah, you've blown, what are we up to? $165,000 on an album that is not even available for anybody to listen to? You want to recoup some of this money? You're paying a producer 60%? You honestly need to get a lawyer, an entertainment lawyer. And you're probably going to have to settle, pay more money to this guy. But you got to get out of this deal. Because I'm guaranteeing you, you probably can't go work with another producer. 60% is criminal. She said, I just wanted to make something beautiful with my music, and now I live in this nightmare. Yep. She said, I wanted to make my grandfather proud. I don't even know what to do next or where to start rebuilding from here. I'm just hoping for some guidance or even a little bit of hope. Guidance? You're not going to get guidance from me. I'm not a lawyer. I picked this email because I think it's a cautionary tale. Everybody's lives are either a warning or an example. And I think that this is a warning on what not to do. She spent $25,000 on promotions, but even if you spend $250, they can still destroy your career. These promotion playlist companies will destroy your career. The thing is that I do feel sorry for you, but to also blame that the producer slipped something in, it doesn't. You don't mention a lawyer anywhere here. You're just throwing money around, and so yeah, the producer should have never taken 60% of your music, but you did sign it. You did allow it to happen because you had $200,000 just burning a hole in your bank account, burning a hole in your pocket. You wanted to get rid of it. You wanted to fast track success as much as you could. And these are the results. So where do you start rebuilding from here? Honestly, go get a lawyer. I would not pay this producer $20,000 to remix album. Heck no. Because it's his fault. You're the one who recommended this promotion company to me. if I was in your situation, I don't know how much you paid for photography or an album cover. I don't know. I'm sure you spent a ton, and I'm sure this producer is probably involved in that. I would get a lawyer involved. I would make sure that you are able to walk away free. I'd trash the album. I would trash the songs. I would trash everything that's involved with these 12 songs. And then I would find a producer who's going to be around the 1,000, 2,000 range. And I would record 1 or 2 songs. Have your lawyer look at that contract. Go under a different name. Create brand new TikTok and Instagram accounts. Delete those from your phone. Delete them from your life. They're dead. You're not bringing them back. And you're going to start over. That's all you can do. Because you get a lawyer involved. Let's say they contact DistroKid. DistroKid lifts the band on you. You still have this producer who's taking 60% of this music. So that sucks. And that's not going away unless you pay him a ton of money. But what I would do is make sure from a lawyer that you do not have any strings attaching you to any future releases with this producer. And if you don't, I'd tell them to go pound sand. I would explain to your audience what happened, to your friends, family, what happened. I would record a song or two and just start rebuilding that way. That's the only thing you can do. But first you got to get with a lawyer and make sure that you are not linked to this producer for future releases. Because I guarantee you, I bet you are. I bet you cannot go work with another producer besides him. That, yeah, sometimes on the road to success, it does get boring. It does get lonely. We do want to, fast track. But you can't. Because this is what happens. There's people out there in the world who are just praying for some grandfather to knock off and give you $200,000 so they can take $165,000 or more from it. So, Sarah, we're going to call you Sarah to protect the innocent. Hang in there. Get with an entertainment lawyer. Find a good entertainment lawyer and get to work reclaiming your career and breaking free from... I'm not even worried about your album at this point. I'm worried about the producer if I was you. So anyways, if you have a question on the music industry that you'd like for me to answer, all you got to do is go to MatthewRicks.com, click submit your question. Be like Sarah here. Give me as many details as possible, and we'll answer it here on this channel. I am Matthew Ricks, and until next time, I will talk to you later.